Hey guys, welcome to this video. In this video, we'll look at operations on strings. Till now, what we have seen is we've seen how to create strings, right? What are strings? Strings are group of characters enclosed within quotations. We have seen how to create strings, how we can find out the length of the string by using the len function, how to do indexing on strings, and how to perform slicing on strings. Now we'll look at other operations on strings. All right. So let's take an example where I create a string called Python is fun. All right. And we'll simply revise, right? So S1 of 0, S1 of -1, right? And len of S1. So here we are printing the first index value, the last index value, and the length of the string. The file name is string operations. We run this, we get P, first character, and the last character, 13, the length of the string or number of characters in the string. All right. Now we have also seen string concatenation, right? So if we have language equal to Python and version equal to 3.13.3, for example, and if we try to print language plus version, what we will get? We'll get these two strings added together or joined together, not arithmetic addition, but joining of the strings together. So if I do a shift F10, I get Python 3.13.3, right? So the plus operator acts as a concatenation operator. Now, can we do a subtraction operation? Can we do this? For example, if I want to say Python minus P, so I want to remove P from here, for example, just imagining that it will work. Will that work? Let's see. It gives an error. See, the error is in this operation, unsupported operand for minus string and string. So the minus operator is not supported in Python with strings. So if you see, there is a yellow color wobble also here, right? Class str does not have the minus operator, right? So what about any other operation like multiplication operation? So let me just quickly comment everything. Okay, or just remove everything. Now let's say I have S1 as, let's say again, Python, and can I print S1 multiplied by 3? Now what do you think? Will this work? Let's see. See, it is working. What is star operator? Star operator is repetition of strings. This is repetition operator, right? So in string, star is repetition operator. So S1 string will be repeated 3 times. Python, Python, Python. Observe here again, there is no space in the middle. All right. All right. The next thing that we're going to look at is concatenation. Sorry. The next thing we'll look at is checking of membership or membership operation in string. What is membership operation or membership operator? There is an operator called in is an operator in Python which checks if a string or a character is part of another string or not. Okay, what is the meaning of this? For example, S1 Python is fun. Okay, All right. Now, print will check Python in S1. So what we are checking here is the string Python present in the string S1 is what we are checking. Okay, this is the in operator. Okay, if Python is present in the string S1, we'll get a true output, Boolean true. So what do you think we will get an output as? True. Python in S1 because Python is there in the string S1. So let's run this and we get the output as true. Here. In this, we can see if a string or a character is also present. Let's, for example, if I check print I in S1. Is I present in S1? Yes, I is present in S1. So this also will get true. Run this. Both Python and I are present. Right. If I check print Z in S1, is the character Z present in S1? Do you see Z anywhere? No, it's not there. Right. So let's run this. If I run this, I'll get a false here. Z in S1 will give a false because Z character is not present in the string S1. So this is in operator, which is called the membership operator, which checks the membership of any string or a character inside another string, right? One last example, maybe Java in S1. Is Java in S1? No, Java is not part of S1. Python is part of S1. So this also will give us false. So these two will give us true. These two will give us false, right? True, true. False, false is the output if you see in the output window. Make sense? All right. So this is what membership operator is, and there is another membership operator just opposite of in, which is not in. Okay, not in is just reverse of in. Okay, so just copy paste this. If I copy paste here, and let's remove these two. Not in. See, what I'm trying to do here is Z is the character Z in S1? No, so we'll get a false. Is the string Java in S1? No, we'll get a false. Not in will give you true if the character or the string is not present in the string, and in the string in which we are checking the other string, right? So Z not in S1. Yes, Z is not in S1, so we'll get a true. Java not in S1. Is Java present in S1? No, so we'll get a true here. And if I write Python not in S1, so is Python there in S1? The answer is yes. Python is in S1, but we are using a not in operator. So not in operator will give us true when it is not there. And if a character or the string is part of the string in which we are checking, then not in will give us a false. So these two will give us false. These two will give us true. And this will give us false. Let's run this quickly and let's see. We're getting a false for Z in S1. We get a false for Java in S1. Then we are checking not in. Is Z not in S1? Yes, it's not in S1. Java not in S1? Yes, Java not in S1. Python not in S1? Python is in S1, but we are checking not in, so we're getting a false. So if you look at in and not in, it looks like English sentences, right? Check whether it's there or not, right? So this is called a membership operator. This can be used with any sequence like list, tuples, and strings. We have not seen list and tuple still. We'll look at in later videos. But in strings, we can find out if any character or a string is part of a string or not using not in, not in. Another thing to note here is in and not in are case sensitive. Okay, do not write N capital, I capital, and so on and so forth. Right. So this has to be written as it is. All right. So this is what we have. The next thing that we're going to look at is, let's say, okay, comparison of strings. Okay, comparison of strings. So let's say if I say print Python equal to Python. So what is double equal to operator? Is the equality operator which checks if a value, left side value is equal to the right side value. If yes, we'll get a true. So in this case, both are same. So we'll get a true. Let's run this quickly. We'll get a true here. Right. Now, what if there is a space in one of them? Let's say there is a space in the first Python space, and we are comparing it with just Python. Pause the video and think. What will be the answer? Will it be true or a false? Let's run this. It is false. Why the output is false? Because there is a space in the first Python, right? There's a space here, and there's no space here. So it should exactly match. Even the space in one of them will not match them exactly, right? They are different even if there is a single space in the string. So now there could be reasons why the space is there. For example, since spaces are also considered as characters inside the string, it has a special place. We can't ignore them. But sometimes there could be some, because of some reason, there are unnecessary spaces present in the string, which may lead to some wrong results. For example, this Python space is coming from somewhere, right? And the space is unnecessary. We did not want it. Let's say we are taking a user input and the user by mistake gives the space, or we are reading it from somewhere where, for unintentional reasons, the space has come, right? So what we need to do is we have to make sure that any trailing and leading spaces are not there in any of the strings. So to check that, or to basically remove that, we'll look at, there is a function called strip. Okay? So removing spaces from a string is a function called strip. So how to use this? Now let's say S1 is Python space and S2 is Python. Or let's take S2 in a bit. S1 is Python space, right? So there's a function called strip. If I do S2 equal to S1 dot strip. So what we are doing? We are using a function called strip on S1 and we are storing the result in S2. Okay. And let's print S2. So if I run this, I get Python here, right? Now, strip, what it does is it removes any initial spaces and any trailing spaces from any string, right? So in this case, it has removed the space from here. Now, if you compare, let's say you compare print S1 dot strip with Python, let's say Python, right? You'll get a true here. How you're getting a true here? This first false is coming from here. The true is coming from here. So why are you getting a true here? Because strip removes this space from Python. As I mentioned, strip function removes spaces from starting as well, right? And it removes any number of spaces. For example, these many number of spaces are there, right? Again, these are unintentional spaces and we don't want to care about them. So there are some spaces here and some spaces here. Strip function will make sure that it removes these spaces as well as these spaces from the string. And when we compare it with Python, we will get the result as true. So let me just comment this off and run this. We're getting it true. So what do we understand? We understood that the strip function removes the trailing and the leading spaces from the string if there are unnecessary spaces present. All right. So we'll see next function, which is a replace function. So replace function is used to replace a part of a string or a character from a string. Okay. So let's say a string is, we are learning Python. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to change this Python to Java. Okay, for example. So what are we going to do? Let's say print s1 dot replace. Let's print s1 first and then print s1 dot replace Python, comma, Java. So what we're doing is, see, there's a feature wherein PyCharm gives this old and new thing here automatically. Okay. So replace function replaces this Python from the string s1 and makes it Java. Let's run this. So we are learning Python is getting printed from s1, and the second line we are learning Java is this print function wherein we are replacing Python to Java. All right. One thing to note here is, if you use any function such as replace with strings, the existing string does not change. Replace will just replace and give a new output to us. Okay. So if you run this now, see, the original s1 is still intact. So it is not reassigning it or changing anything inside the existing string s1. We're getting a new string. That's what we are printing here. All right. You can store it in the same string if you want to replace it. If you want to reassign a s1 variable itself, you can replace it by that, or you can store it in a different variable s2 or s3, whatever. Right. So another example. So let's say if you want to replace just L, the small l, okay, with capital L, or just this E to capital E. Okay, just do that. Okay, small e with capital E you want to replace. Okay, if you want to do that, this small e will be replaced with capital E. Let's see. Let's run this and see. If you see here, this is replaced. But if you observe it carefully, all the e's are replaced. Yes or no? There are 3 e's in this string, in the sentence, and all of them are replaced. So by default, if you use a replace function with a string, wherever it finds the first character or the first argument, this is called an argument of the function. This argument, everywhere it will be replaced by the new value which is written after comma. All right. Now, is there a way we can replace only one? Let's try this. If I put 1 here, let's see what happens. If I put 1 here and run this, it only changes the first character. See, the second E and the third E are not changed. So if you only want to change n number of occurrences, right? First E you want to change, give the count as 1, give this as 1. If you want to change 2 of them, give 2. So first and second occurrences will be changed, and so on and so forth. So replace function by default replaces every occurrence of this character to the new character or substring. If you give the count here, let's say you want to replace only the first one from the left side, you give count as 1. If you want to give count as 2, it will replace the first 2 occurrences. So E and E both are replaced, and so on and so forth. That's all for this video. In the next video, we'll look at other operations with strings. Thank you.